Tonight, you will lie down on a soft, flat surface, pull a blanket over your body, close your eyes, and expect to sleep for 8 straight hours without waking once. And if you do wake up in the middle of the night, you will feel like something is wrong with you. You will stare at the ceiling. You will check your phone. You will wonder why your body is broken. But your body is not broken. It never was. The thing that is broken is the story you were told about sleep. For almost the entire span of human existence, no one slept the way you sleep. No one had a bed. No one had a roof guaranteed to hold. No one had a clock telling them when to start or stop. And yet, humans slept. They dreamed. They woke. They survived. And in many ways, the sleep they had was stranger, more alive, and more human than anything a modern mattress company could ever sell you. The real story of how ancient humans slept will change the way you think about every night of your life. Start with the body itself. Your body carries ancient instructions. Deep inside your circadian system, buried in a cluster of neurons above your optic nerve called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, is a biological clock that has been ticking for hundreds of millions of years. It does not care about your schedule. It does not care about your alarm. It responds to one thing above all others: light. Specifically, the slow arc of the sun from dawn to dusk and the darkness that follows. Researcher Russell Foster at the University of Oxford has spent decades studying this internal clock. His work shows that the modern human body still expects light at sunrise, darkness at sunset, and a gradual dimming in between. It expects firelight in the evenings, not the white-blue glow of a phone screen at 11 at night. Every artificial light source you encounter after dark is, to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, a small act of confusion, a small signal that says the sun is still up, that it is not yet time. So you stay awake longer than your ancestors ever did. And then you collapse into a compressed, truncated version of sleep that your biology was never designed for. Ancient humans did not sleep in one long block. This is the first lie. The idea of 8 uninterrupted hours is not natural. It is industrial. Before the widespread use of artificial lighting, before factories needed workers alert at fixed hours, human sleep looked entirely different. Historian A. Roger Ekirch at Virginia Tech spent decades combing through diaries, court records, medical texts, and literature from pre-industrial Europe. What he found was startling. For centuries, people across cultures slept in 2 distinct segments. They called the first period their first sleep. They would fall asleep shortly after dark, sleep for 3 or 4 hours, then wake naturally in the middle of the night. They were awake for an hour or 2. Then they fell back into what they called their second sleep until morning. That hour in the middle was not insomnia. It was not a malfunction. It was expected. It was used. People prayed during it. They reflected on their dreams. They had quiet conversations with a partner lying beside them. Some had sex. Some simply lay in a calm, half-dreaming state that researchers now associate with elevated levels of prolactin, a hormone linked to deep relaxation and even mild euphoria. It was, by many accounts, one of the most peaceful states a human body could enter. And then electricity arrived, and the night shrank, and the 2 sleeps collapsed into one, and an entire era of human rest quietly disappeared from memory so completely that when Ekirch began publishing his findings in the early 2000s, most people had no idea this pattern had ever existed. But go back further, much further, before Europe, before agriculture, before walls. The Hadza people of northern Tanzania are one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth. They live in a way that is as close as modern researchers can get to the lifestyle of your distant ancestors. Jerome Siegel, a sleep researcher at the University of California, Los Angeles, spent years studying their sleep patterns, and what he found defied almost everything sleep science had assumed. The Hadza do not sleep 8 hours. They average just over 6.5. They do not go to sleep immediately after dark. They stay awake for hours after sunset, talking, tending fires, watching the sky. They fall asleep gradually. And critically, they almost never all sleep at the same time. Think about what that means. In a group of 20 or 30 people sleeping in the open, under trees, in grass shelters, Exposed to the African night, someone was almost always awake. At any given moment during the night, Siegel's data showed at least one or two individuals in the group were in a lighter sleep phase or fully alert. The group as a whole was never completely unconscious, never fully unguarded, never fully vulnerable. Your ancestors did not sleep alone. They slept in groups, pressed together for warmth, surrounded by the sounds and breathing of people they trusted. The isolation of modern sleep, one person or two in a sealed room with a locked door, is so recent in evolutionary terms that your nervous system has no real framework for it. Some researchers believe the epidemic of sleep disorders in the modern world is not just about screens and schedules. It is partly about the absence of other bodies, the absence of the sounds that told your ancient brain the group was safe. Consider also where ancient humans slept, not on flat surfaces. Early human sleeping sites, reconstructed by archaeologists from sites across Africa, show evidence of carefully constructed grass beds, elevated slightly off the ground, chosen for their position relative to fire and wind. Research published in the Journal of Human Evolution found ancient bedding materials at Sibudu Cave in South Africa, dating back 77,000 years, layered with insect-repelling plants, suggesting a degree of deliberate sleep preparation that no one expected at that time depth. They chose their sleeping spots carefully. High ground when possible. Near water, but not too near. Close to fire, but not so close the sparks became a danger. The choice of where to sleep was a survival decision made every single night. And what happened during sleep? The brain did not go quiet. It processed, it consolidated, it dreamed. Matthew Walker, neuroscientist at UC Berkeley and author of research spanning decades of sleep science, has shown that REM sleep, the phase in which vivid dreaming occurs, is when the brain strips the emotional charge from difficult memories. It replays experiences but mutes the cortisol response. It lets you remember what happened without being re-traumatized by it every time. Sleep, Walker argues, is the brain's overnight therapy session, and ancient humans facing genuine daily threats, predators, injuries, social conflict, starvation, had a great deal to process. Their dreams were not random noise. They were the brain doing its deepest maintenance work. And the fact that humans across every culture in recorded history have attached profound meaning to dreams, have built religions and rituals around them, suggests that ancient people understood, without any neuroscience at all, that what happened during sleep mattered. They were right. Here is what the ancient sleep looked like, assembled from everything researchers now know. As the sun dropped below the horizon, the light shifted from blue-white to orange-red, the exact spectrum of firelight. Your ancestors gathered close. They ate the last of the day's food. They talked. They told stories. The children fell asleep first, tucked against the warmth of adults. The group drifted into first sleep in phases, not all at once. Someone stayed half alert. The fire was tended through the night. Around the deep middle of the dark, many woke briefly, lay quiet, dreamed at the edges of consciousness. Then second sleep pulled them under until the birds began, until the sky began to shift, until the light came back to start the whole system again. No alarm, no deadline, no blue light, just the oldest rhythm in the human story. Now come back to tonight, to your room, to your flat mattress and your locked door, and your phone face down on the nightstand. You will try to sleep 8 hours in one go, in silence, alone or nearly alone, in a room lit artificially until the moment you decide to stop. And when you wake at 3 in the morning, your mind half-surfaced for reasons your body understands perfectly well, you will think something has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. Your body is remembering something old, something that kept your ancestors alive through 100,000 years of open sky and real dark and predators that moved at night. The sleep lie is not that you sleep badly. The sleep lie is that you were ever supposed to sleep the way you do now. Tonight, when the dark wakes you, know that your ancestors were awake too, tending the fire, watching the stars, waiting for the light to come back. They always waited, and it always did. Do like and subscribe for more such videos.